Okay, sorry. Running late. Oh wow, I'm way running late today. Sorry. It's been a slow day. So it is Tuesday. It is needle felting day. And we're back to working on the sluggy. I have to just kind of give the side pieces here a little bit more of a tap through, because while I was rotating it every which way to try to get the head on there, some of the side sections decided to become a little bit loose. Alright, be careful. You got your wallet, right?
Yes, I've got my wallet.
Okay. You had to run to the store real quick. Yeah, man. Like, this thing, man. It is being stubborn. I was hoping to spend a bit more time working on the man, he like almost completely detached. Working on the log today. Maybe I just didn't have it on there as well as I had thought I did. That is also possible. Let's see here. As long as it's like pretty good in there, then I'll be okay. It's just seeing daylight through a section where I didn't want to be seeing daylight through is a little concerning. Alright, that side's... it was pretty good. Alright, so they're gonna kind of hang out there for a little bit. And we're gonna get back to work on our tree trunk pieces here. Oh, what color did I want to do the middle? Did I want it to be this color? So, I kept going back and forth between dark log and not a dark log. Just really wasn't sure how I wanted to handle this. And then it came down to, well, what do I have left already? So I think I'm gonna do a like light to medium brown. It's gonna be this color for our tree trunk. And then I'm gonna use the darker shade that I've got here. And I'm gonna use that for like the shadows and the cracks in the bark. And I honestly also decided to go with this shade because I have a shade of embroidery thread that is pretty close to this color. So that when it comes time to sew this guy together, it should hopefully blend in and look like part of the tree. Ideally, having some clear thread would have been better, but we're working with what we've got. And I didn't think that far ahead, so I didn't have any clear thread. I mean, it would have been good if I had thought that far ahead, but it is me. Again, sorry we got a late start. I am so tired. I had a rough time getting up. Allergies are losing their minds. It's just been icky this morning, and like we didn't even take the doggos to the board game place this morning. We just ran them out front. It is so windy and blustery, like you could hear the wind howling and roaring through the tops of the trees. When I got up, I was like, oh damn. Like, I don't know that I want to be at the park that's full of trees in all this wind. Plus, we're in the middle of another temperature shift. We had 2 days where it was struggling to get out of the 30s, and now it's supposed to be back up into the 60s today, eventually. And I'm just like, what? Can we just pick one? So I can just be sick with my neck being angry about the temperature shift and be done with it. This is not my idea of fun. And it is so dry here right now. Our humidity is desperately low. My skin is angry at how dry it is. Just been putting so much lotion on my skin. I'm like, what the heck? Like 10 minutes later, my skin's like on fire because it feels like it never got any lotion at all. And I'm like, wow. Like, well, this is not fun. Really didn't want that ring to be quite that thick, but case. That piece didn't really brush out. And you'll have moments um where the brush doesn't brush it out perfectly every time. It happens. I'm going to be using a lot of water today. just because my hands don't have quite enough friction on them to get everything shaped here, it seems. Now, because this is going to have an inside piece and an outside piece, I'm not going to worry so much about stabbing through the other side. The other side can keep its spiky bits. That'll also help me make sure that I've got the right side facing out. But yeah, I'm not gonna stress myself out over that too much. I mean, if you really want to, you could go ahead and stab it back through, but I really don't think we need to. So I'm gonna do another ring here. You can do as little or as many rings as you want. Just kind of working through here, stabbing that in, and then you can like come in at an angle and kind of try to move it around a little bit if you need to. And the nice thing about doing like tree rings is that while you kind of want them to be somewhat even, they can be a little wobbly and a little unsymmetrical. Like, they don't have to be perfect, right? Being a little less than perfect is probably better. In this instance. Like, I don't want it super thick though, so that's kind of why I'm like twisting and pulling it away. I don't want it super thin either, because then it's just gonna melt into the background. But as long as, you know, we're kind of at a good in-between thing. And that's just something that you kind of learn from doing. It's hard to say how much fluff is going to get you to where you want to be, because it depends really on like how heavy-handed you are, what size needle you're using. It's just something that kind of comes with doing. And you know, it's like, oh, okay, so I definitely made that too thin, or oh, I made that too thick. I mean, it's a little bit easier to fix the too thin than the too thick. I mean, you can kind of, too thin, you would just add more fluff on top of it. Too thick, you can kind of come in sideways a little bit. Not like sideways, but you know, at a steep angle. And try to like move the fluff in towards itself a little bit better. I did get a little bit more editing done on the tissue paper project. I think I'm on video 86 out of 180. One video clip was like 3 minutes long and I didn't do anything in there, and I'm like, what was the point of this? Was I setting up to do something and then got pulled away, which is probably what happened? But there is a camera picture quality difference that's going to happen halfway through, because when I was recording it, we were using a USB extension cord because the camera cord was not long enough to reach my PC. And partway through recording, the cable died. Like, the cable just wasn't sending signal. And I was getting like a jumbled mess of color bars, and I'm like, what the fuck? At first I thought the camera died, and I'm like, oh no. It was the cable. So you can distinctly see an image quality change. So that other cable was kind of icky for a little bit longer than we had realized. So that's fun. Because I said to him, I was like the picture just got a little bit brighter, a little less fuzzier. I mean, it's a little fuzzy because I had to zoom in for a lot of it, and I was forgetting to turn off autofocus too a lot of the time, because I kept forgetting every time I shut the computer down. The camera was resetting back to its original setting, and I forgot every time I needed to turn off autofocus. So that's fun. But I said to him, because I'm looking at the dates on on the videos before I was changing what they were called, and I was like, hey, do me a favor. He goes, what? I said, go back into our Amazon order history and tell me when we ordered that replacement USB extension cable. He's like, why? I was like, I need to know. And he's like, in March. And I'm like, okay, that tracks. And he goes, what? I was like, the camera quality suddenly changed on this date, and that is right after we ordered the camera cable. And he goes, oh. I was like, he goes, are you sure it just wasn't, the autofocus thing? I'm like, no. He goes, or the lighting. I said it was the same light panel that I had been using the whole time. No, you can see a distinct difference in clarity. He goes, oh. I was like, yeah. It's like, well then. I'm like, yeah, I'm not that good at editing. I'm not gonna be able to edit that out. So that's fun. I probably should have just tried to stream the thing, but I started out doing it in a different room. And keeping an eye on the chat was gonna be trouble. And then I couldn't, just listen to my jams, and there were interruptions of having to go places and take dogs out, and then I was hungry and wandered away, or I wasn't feeling well with a migraine, so I stopped way early, and all that stuff. So that's mildly frustrating and funny at the same time, and I'm like, yeah, okay. As it is, the edited footage, I think I'm at 4 hours of the edited footage. And I'm like, oh my god, how long is this final video going to be? I'm not even halfway through the video files. Some of them are smaller, so that's helping. I think I'm like entering a section where like some videos were 20 minutes, some were a half an hour, some were just under an hour. I was looking at the one video, I'm like, is this 3 hours or is this 3 minutes? I was like having quite the hard time understanding why I had a video clip that was so short. I'm like, what happened here? It's very strange. Like, man, we had to get gloves and shit the other day, and now it's gonna be back up into the 70s the next few days. So we're not gonna do a Katamari stream this week. It's getting into serious Christmas gift making time for me, where I need to knuckle under and be getting stuff completed, and I want to decorate for Christmas. So my plan is this week to try to get the outside Christmas decorating done. Okay. So that's gonna take time. We've got the ones that have lights out. Like, we don't have a whole lot to do outside, but it's gonna take some time. Like, it's gonna take me at least like an hour to 2 hours. Because I need to hang wreaths. I need to see if the wreaths need repairs. I need to dig out the tree for the cemetery and let that solar panel charge and see if the lights are still working or if I have to replace the lights. Figure out if any repairs need to be made to that tree before we lug it up to the cemetery. I need to find all of my U-pins for outside for stabilizing everything and rearrange my flamingos. I need to decorate Mongo. Like, it's gonna take me a couple of hours. And then I have to decorate our tree after we get that put up, and the husband helps me put the lights on it because I can't have my arms up that high. Fucking with the lights, he usually puts the lights on it for me because my neck gets mad. So one day is probably going to be just devoted to decorating, and then I need to get cracking on my brother's needle felted piece, his magnet. I'm trying to needle felt the same picture that I'm doing the painting on that we started yesterday. We'll see. The needle felt might come out better than the painting. I don't know yet. I don't normally do animals. So this will be interesting, to say the least. Okay, we need a little bit more of this color, and this color is Soft Fudge from Paintbox. So it is exciting that Michaels is now gonna be carrying Big Twist. Like, the colors and everything. Like the Big Twist label is on it. I saw it on the website. So that's exciting. It'll be interesting to see if it goes to sale prices and what those sale prices are. So I can still get it. So that is a bit exciting for me at least. I mean, I'm not like super loyal to any specific brand. I'm more about what's on sale and is the amount I'm getting worth this sale price, you know? Because some yarn skeins are really tiny. And it's like, yeah, but for this much, I could get this. I was looking at some of the stuff on We Crochet. It's another streamer I follow announced that she's a ambassador for them now. And I don't know if I'd really knew about their website beforehand, but prices didn't look too horrific. These are like pretty much the same size, right? Pretty much. One's slightly smaller than the other, but that could be from doing the circles and it pulling the stuff in a little bit tighter. Okay. So I had the husband order a latch hook rug for me for Christmas. It hasn't arrived yet. It said it was shipping from Amazon, or so I thought. But they're giving a delivery window of any time between today and the 21st, and I'm like, huh? Okay. Weird. Are they like, is the company delivering it themselves? So if it actually shows up, that is something that we can work on stream. I haven't done a latch hook rug in forever. We got my mom one. She's gonna say, I can't see to do that, but the canvas is color coded from what we can tell. And we can just enlarge the directions if we need to. And we got her a magnifier with a light on it that we can attach to the card table that we have that she would probably end up using to work on it anyhow. So I'm just kind of twisting and pulling out from the center. It's not like any huge technique. I'm just telling you what I'm doing to try to thin this out a little bit. Like I'm not like pulling with all my might either. It's just kind of like a gentle, like working it down just to trying to thin that a little bit. Oh, hold on. When did that happen? What? Cheap. Cheap viewers, huh? Well, I'm not exactly an expensive date, but I'm certainly not buying cheap views. I'm not buying views at all. We're not doing that. That's ludicrous. Like, I don't understand the point of that, because, you know, if you go through one of those sites, the views are only gonna last as long as you've got money to pay them. And money's gonna run out for that eventually, right? And there's no guarantee that doing that is going to get you more legitimate viewers. It's just dumb. It's dumb. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. It's dumb. And I think it's against TOS too. But just stop it. Alright. And stop advertising that shit in my channel. I think that looks like the automod caught it, so from Twitch. So you guys didn't actually see it. Moobot didn't catch it. Because Moobot didn't squawk at me. And I do have it running. It's set to squawk when somebody talks. I don't have it visually on the screen right now for stream avatars. Well, not Moobot that squawks, but Moobot catches it, and stream avatars yells at me that something happened in the chat that I should probably take a look at. Okay. Kind of looks like a little cinnamon roll. I'm hungry. When am I not hungry? Oh my god. Alrighty. And it's just drops of water that I'm putting on my finger. Nothing fancy. That's what my hand keeps reaching for. I don't have my water cup in frame. Just like a drop. I'm trying to shake off the extra because I don't want this saturated. I just want enough to help the fibers come together. We're not wet felting. That's a whole nother beast. Entirely different beast. Okay. So we're just kind of going round and round here. As we add in our ring friends here. That little guy off of there. So 1, 2, we've got one more ringy guy to go here. Alright, there's gonna be a little bit of noise, so I'm gonna mute the mic just for a minute. Sorry, husband was hanging a hook that we got on clearance that we forgot and left in the car because it was in the bag with some gifts that we grabbed. Is she outside? Okay. So this is ring number 3. Just trying to make sure, like, I'm actually attached in all of the places and that it's not just like a half-ass attachment. I mean, ideally you would want these to be close in shape. It's me, so they're not gonna be, but we definitely tried. Alright, so that little piece that I had floating around, gonna stick you in the middle here. Okay, so that's not so bad. The one is still a little bit bigger than the other, even though we used a template. Alright, so now we're gonna try to figure out our
No, we ain't going nowhere.
our log here. So it's gonna be longer. Alright, so I kind of need it like this long-ish. So it's gonna take a little bit of effort here on our part. And I'm probably going to have to fluff more stuff. Like that's probably just the way it's gonna be. Alright, so to get me started here, I'm gonna kinda maybe be better if we like do a fluff snake so I can at least get an idea of my length here. That needs to be a little bit longer. Alright, so at this stage it's not gonna look super pretty. It's just the way it's gonna be. Alright, so I'm gonna start with that. And we're gonna go from there. Alright. Like I don't want it to be a round snake. I'm gonna kind of flatten this guy out. Because he needs to be flat, and it's gonna shrink a little bit. Because that's how these go. So I'm probably gonna have to add a little bit more to at least get our length established, let alone our thickness here. Now, I mean, I could have probably done this part with the polyfill and just covered the polyfill. Also an option. I didn't want to do a solid tree trunk. I didn't really have the time for that. So, and then it would be super heavy as well. One second. Okay. Well, the next time we're at Walmart. So we'll grab that before they sell out. Alright, so this guy's gonna be a little bit delicate. and fragile at this stage, as we are stabbing all of our bits together here. So gently, because we are stabbing into the mat. We want to make sure that we are pulling that up pretty often and very carefully, so we don't lose any of it into the mat, because that's not going to do us any favors. Were you releasing the cat?
I already did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is going to take a little bit of layering and a bit back and forth. To get this guy stable, and B to a sturdiness that is going to be thick enough to support our sluggy. Without completely disintegrating. So like it needs to be thicker than this. So this is just the preliminary pass at trying to establish how long we need this guy to be. And honestly, if you're really hard up on materials or time, you could get a piece of felt and maybe either stitch or needle felt the bark lines into it and go that route if you really need to. Okay. After I get this initial pass done here, let me see. Alright, we're a little short still. So I need that to be just a little bit longer. Like it doesn't have to be like super extremely longer, but I do need it a little bit longer. This probably needs a little bit more tacked into that. Yeah, because that's a really thin connection point there. And ideally, I would like this a little bit longer than my guy itself here. So that way, if there is any shrinkage happening, which there tends to be as we're going, we'll be okay. So what are we looking like here? Alright, that's not bad. Alright, so I am gonna come back through this other side. Not like super diligently at this point, but I do want to come back through just to get it a little bit more solid, a little less fragile. Is the bucket over the trash can?
I don't know, but it's not now.
Because that was quite a thump. Ian's obsessed with trying to get into the trash can in the kitchen. Bean! Bean, Bean! There you go. Our oven threw an error code again last night, just as I was finishing dinner. I don't understand what this stove's problem is. It's not even 2 years old yet. I think this spring. This March or April, I think it'll be 2 years. And it keeps throwing an issue with the temperature gauge and the control board not communicating, and they're like, well, unplug it for a little bit. And that fixed it for several months when we had the guy come out and he detached the temperature gauge. And he looked it over, he's like, I don't see anything wrong. And it didn't give us an error code at that point. It was just heating well beyond what it should have been. And we were like, why is the stove temperature going crazy? And well, now we recently started getting the error code. And I'm like, oh, good. And apparently they're like, well, if there's nothing wrong with the wiring, unplug it for a few minutes and then plug it back in to try to clear the error code. And the last error code we had was like 2-3 weeks ago. Like, it's happening more frequently, and we don't exactly have the cash to just replace an oven on a whim. Like, that is going to be a serious problem for our trip budget for April if this has to be. Okay. I'm not sure how I want to attach these guys. Do I want to like make a snake and then just kind of like lay it in next to it? We could do that. That's probably one of the slower ways to do it, but it might actually mean I'm attached to it. Because as it is, it's going to be quite a feat here. So do I want to keep going down the length, or do I want to like go across to get the length figured out and then attach down? Don't know. I mean, at this point I'd be like, screw it. We're replacing this thing. I'm not dicking around with this fancy ass oven any longer. But like I would have used the house credit money to replace it. But no, 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 no. The mother-in-law decided that that was her extra spending fuck around money while they were out traveling. And now we don't have that. So that's fun. Should have been a serious stipulation on that, that they had to like both sign together to get money out of there. But that thing is not being reopened again. When the time is up on that thing, it is done. It was supposed to have been closed. I told him to close it so we didn't have to scramble to pay it off again. Especially after we paid it off the last time, when we didn't run up any of that money. And apparently he thought it had been closed. And apparently his mom thought it had been closed too, because she hadn't pulled from it. And I told him as such. I was like, she must think that's closed too, because she sure as shit would have been pulling from it. He goes, I don't know. I was like, I guarantee you. And within a month of her finding out that it was still open, or realizing it was still open, she was pulling from it like crazy. She just could not help herself. Which is deeply, deeply frustrating. Alright, so how do I want to... Do I want to keep going all the way to the end? And the husband can't do much about it because his name's not on it. I was like, how is your name not on it if you're on the deed? He's like, I don't know. I was like, you had to have signed something saying that was okay. He goes, I signed something, but I don't remember what it was. Because this was years ago, and he didn't realize how bad his mom was with spending at the time. I guess. I don't know. Things getting paid off this time, and it will be closed. I will pay the penalties for it to close early if it gets paid off before it closes. Alright, so I'm kind of overlapping a little bit. It's like I have to attach into it to some degree. Just checking our length here. Like, I don't need to work in such small amounts, but I am. Don't need to be. And right now, like, we do have, like, the weird seams in between. And that'll be okay. Alright, so I am using acrylic yarn for this. Nothing special. Most people use roving, wool roving. The acrylic yarn is probably not as easy as the roving, like the wool roving. Because the wool roving will stick to itself a little bit better. But it's what I can access easily with my available budget. So that's what I am using. Now, after I get all of this in place, I'm probably going to have to come back in and maybe add some patches here and there. Thicken it up a little bit. Just to kind of get all of our pieces merged together here without too much fussing. Won't be like too incredibly dire because I'm gonna come back in and like add some darker brown lines to it to kind of act like the crevices in between the bark, where it's going to be a little bit darker. I'm not worried about that yet though. And if one side is more ugly than the other, we'll make that our inner piece here. And this might take a little bit to get this figured out. So again, I need a little bit of overlap between the pieces. Just so it has something to attach into. And again, we want to be gentle here because we are belting into the mat. It's kind of why I'm working on a corner that I don't normally work on, like the very corner. And I'm gonna try to hold off going through the other side until I get this side to where I'm happy with it. And like if this edge isn't completely even, that's fine. We can even it up a little bit more as we go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to fluff more of this. I don't know what container that is in though. Gonna have to dig through my stuff this week and find it. My one container is black, so I can't see through it. The other container doesn't have that much yarn in it. It has a little bit, but it also has some of the leftover tissue paper from that project. I want to do another tissue paper piece. I just haven't had the time to work on it, unfortunately. I have had the thought, though, that I should probably be twisting tissue paper while I am editing. So that way, when I do get the time, when I'm done editing, if I'm ever done editing, I mean, I'll probably always have something to edit of some description. But, like, I need to record some more Little Known Galaxy. Because I don't have that much pre-recorded right now. I think I've got 6 more videos of that I need to edit, which isn't going to take me all that far. Question is, oh, we're going to need a decent amount of this, so yeah, I'm going to have to really fluff a good amount, aren't I? Because okay. Sorry, I just had the heart-stopping thought of I didn't take anything out of the freezer for dinner. I was like, what was dinner gonna be? I forgot. We're gonna have sloppy joes. That fast, I forgot. That's what we were doing for dinner. Okay, and this thing doesn't look like it's widening very quickly. Unfortunately, this is gonna take a hot minute. But we'll get there eventually. I suppose. So we've got like just that much. Wow. We've got a ways to go. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna end up going through all of this fluff. And then some. Hopefully I have enough. I feel like I should. I'll probably start with the black container and see if the rest of it is in there. It's a small skein of yarn though. It's not a very large skein. And I don't have another color that's very similar to it, so if I do run out of it, I'm gonna have to probably go with like a lighter color for the bottom that wouldn't be all that visible. So yeah, definitely no Katamari stream this week. Definitely, definitely. I was gonna keep going the length, but then I'm like, maybe we should figure out how wide we need to be first. Like this side feels pretty good. This side's a little messy, but this is our attachment side. So this side might end up being the interior. We'll see. We've got a ways to go before we get to that. You know, I started this guy early because I'm like, oh yeah, we'll be done in plenty of time. And now I'm like, I decided to add this log on last minute. Not entirely last minute, but I hadn't planned on doing the display log. And now I'm like, well, shit. Will it be done in time? Or am I going to need to do some extra streams on this guy? That is the question. Because, wow. There's going to be a lot of fluff. I'm okay if it's a little bit longer than the piece I'm necessarily attaching it to. Like, that's fine. Because eventually more is going to get attached to the bottom of it. So, you know, it's like whatever. That part is not a big deal. Alright. Again, I don't want to attach it to the mat. That's not going to do us any favors whatsoever. Okay, next bit of Floof and Stoof. Like, I don't know, maybe I should start adding to the bottom. I don't know. I mean, either way, it's gonna have to get added eventually, right? Whether we do it now. I mean, that was like a smaller piece, so that wasn't gonna work out as well up higher. Alright. Like, it doesn't need to be super tight. Okay, well, we are adding width just slowly. Because we are starting to hang off the mat now. So we do have that going. I'm hoping we can get that painting done in time. I think I can get the magnet done in time. I probably need to not video edit tonight to get a bit further on that guy. Again, very carefully. I probably should have pulled that up a little bit sooner. That one didn't really do much there. Okay. I mean, I could have just let it dangle. Alright, so overlap just a little bit so we've got something to attach into. Like, I could have tried to make a template for this, but I don't know if it would have been big enough. I probably would have had to do it in pieces anyway. So I'm not sure if a template would have really helped here. Like, I'm just not sure. I mean, I might have been able to fill it a little bit faster, potentially. But sometimes faster isn't always the better way to go. Sometimes going slower is a little bit better, even if it is annoying. We're just gonna keep on adding our bits here so I can figure out how long this guy needs to be. He needs to be decently long. Well, decently wide, I guess. We already have our length figured out. As the length is going off the screen. And that one's a little... And I mean, that's okay. It can be a little weird there, because we still have to flip it over a few times. So, I mean, it's not like a huge problem. It's going to be a little fragile and delicate for a while. So we've got the Sluggy guide done. Slug is done. What we are currently attempting to work on is the log he's going to be chilling on. We finished the shape of the two ends of the log last week. So then this week we put our rings into the cut ends of the log. Or the exposed ends of the log, if you will. And right now, we are just kind of working our way through this. You okay? You okay?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, now we are felting into the mat at the moment. We have to remember that, so we don't want to get too carried away. I want to keep lifting that up. Alright, so far, not quite. Well, I guess we're about halfway to the arch at that point. We need to go another set of this, and then we have to do the bottom flat piece. So it's going to take a minute to get there. And I'm just trying to tap the new piece into the edge of the piece that's already here. Okay. And we just want to make sure that those two guys are looking good there. So I'm coming in on a slight angle just to make sure that that edge seems to be pretty good there. When I go to lift up, I want to be very careful and gentle about it. Okay. Alright, so let's grab another chunk of fuzz here. Just a little bit of water just so I can shape this a little bit better. It doesn't need to be like super thick here. But I do need it like slightly thick enough to attach. Like this edge doesn't have to necessarily be even because we are going to extend it out the full length. This is just our base quick pass here so far. Just to try to get an idea. Of the size that we need here. And I mean, we're slowly extending the width. I can see that on the desk in front of me here. It's getting there. I think our little tailpiece is about to drop off the side here. And I know we've got like line seams in here, and that's fine. Like I said, I'm planning on coming back and adding in some darker lines for like bark crevices. If I have time, I will. Probably what I should say. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna stab that along the edge of the previous piece. And, you know, sometimes you have to come in to the side a little bit just to kind of get that flattened out a little bit. You don't want to do it too much though, because then you will shrink the width that you've got to work with. Probably should have lifted that up a little bit sooner than that, but I did not. Alright, so from there. Alright. Yeah, we're definitely making progress. I'm gonna end up sewing this onto here because it's just gonna be easier and probably less trouble than trying to felt that seam together, because I need it to hold, because we have to stuff this guy. Well, we don't have to, but I am going to, because his insides are going to be kind of empty if we don't, since I'm not doing a felted core for this inside. we'll get this section popped into here. We might end up spending part of this stream fluffing. Potentially. Alright, that could be a little bit tighter, I think. Yeah, that section's gonna need a little bit more fluff. We will worry about that as we get further along, though. Okay. So this guy, let's just kind of rinse and repeat as we go along here. It's going to be like that for a while. As we work on getting the width of this correct. Or as correct as we can. Alright, I'm gonna gently peel this guy up. Try to, at least. I've got the little tail hanging off the, or trying to hang off the desk here. I'm trying to keep it up, though. So, Bean doesn't notice it. I don't even know where Bean is right now. It doesn't sound as though he's bothering Cow. I don't see Peabut, so he's either bothering Peabut or he's, I guess, with the guinea pigs or looking for trouble in the kitchen. Bean is still out, right?
Yeah, Bean's out.
He's being suspiciously quiet. Which is always a little concerning. Okay. Get more fluff out of our bag of fluff here. Now I know this looks pretty rough and ragged at the moment. It's going to. It takes a while for it to get to like a more smooth state. And we're not there yet. It is a process. It is very much a process. And this is the first time I've tried to make something like this, so it's going to be even more of a process. Oh, I just heard him run by. Bean! Nothing. I threw a toy to him. I think he was chasing Peabut. He keeps losing a bunch of his springs under our stove. We know because we had to pull the stove out last night to unplug it for a little bit. Alright, so let's do another check here. Alright, we're almost to the other side. Almost. And then we have to get the bottom. Alright. A little bit of water. And I mean, I could just lay the fluff flat and attach it that way, but this kind of brings my fluffy bits together a bit easier. So that way I get a little bit thicker of a section. You turned the stove off, right? Just checking. Okay. Oh, there goes the tail. Tail is now off the desk. Okay. This edge attached. I mean, there's times where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm overlapping too much. We're not really getting any wider, and then like, oh no, we are. I mean, we can definitely see that now. But that other length marker is off the table here. That got a little attached. See that that got a little attached there, a little flattened out. On the one end, I think it was a little bit thinner down there. How are we looking here? Oh, that wasn't happy. That sounded like littles. Alright, so we just have to extend long enough for the bottom piece. There's gonna be a lot of fluff. So we'll get... Who was fucking around?
Mr. Beans and Littles.
Like, I can never tell sometimes with her meows. I mean, sometimes it's easy to tell how angry she is, but I wasn't sure if that was a playful angry or if that was a... What did I tell you, angry? Okay. I mean, I guess I could have, like, felted the section that we pulled out and then added it. So it was kind of already flattened out a little bit. I suppose that would have also been an option. Being real careful, real easy with it. You don't just want to go in and rip. So that's how you distort your mat. Speaking from experience. Okay. So get this guy. Tapped in on that edge. Okay, and this mat has held up pretty well with us taking the razor and trying to get what surface fluff off we can. I mean, there's fluff embedded. It's gonna happen. Like, that's just kind of part of it, but I think it's holding up a little bit better because we were doing the razor to try to get some of that off of there. That, and I didn't get anybody terribly stuck to this one. Hi, dude. It's not time yet. Look, Mr. Bean. Achoo! It's not time yet, Suzu. Do you want your breakfast now? Are you hungies? That's between you and Dad.
Hmm?
Oh, he's over here. I only got him to take a couple bites of his breakfast. I don't know if that's what he wants or he wants the other thing, but it's not time yet, guy. It's not time for afternoon's attempt. We weren't able to go this morning, so he's unhappy about that. And he's trying to tell me it's past time to go. Did you leave the pan sitting on the burner? Just, it smells like something burning. Okay. Let me get rid of that chunk. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we will add this bit. Again, I'm just doing... What did you do? Something fell. Oh, this cat. I don't know what he's playing with. Keep trying to throw springs in his direction. What was he after?
He knocked over the sugar bowl and was trying to play with that.
What?
Then he started trying to play with littles underneath the table.
No one's allowed in Little's sanctum. As Cal keeps repeatedly finding out. That is the girls' hideout, no boys allowed. Unless she expressly lets you enter. Okay. So... let's see here. Oh, we're almost there. Almost. We've got just a little bit more width to add there. This one is probably already more than... no, it's about the same. Alright, like I said, the one's only slightly larger than the other, and I do mean slightly. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more sections here. Roughly. Okay. Get that piece attached along that side. And I'm probably gonna have to add some more bits to the attachment side. There goes our neighbor. I thought something was wrong with my computer all of a sudden. I was like, what is that noise? No, it's just her leaving. Meow, what are you doing? You two are getting into so much trouble. I just wanted to even that up just a little bit. Okay with the edge being a little wonky, but that was probably a little too wonky. Very, very carefully. I have my thumb under there and I'm just gently kind of working it under. Gently pulling it up. Okay. And again, you want to do that periodically, well, more than periodically, pretty frequently. So you don't become too embedded in the mat. All right, and we were almost there, so let's see here. This piece is probably too thin to do much of anything, but we'll give it a see. Okay. So I'm probably gonna need to add that last piece there to my left, but we will see how we're looking here. And just to make sure. Like, I don't want to add it if I don't necessarily need it, right? Okay, so we'll take the bigger piece here. Oh no, we are good. All right, I'll probably put like the seam on the bottom. But we are good for width now. I am hearing her growl. Give me 1 second, you guys. Alright, sorry about that. Cats be catting you. Okay, so I'm gonna start to add in to our bottom edge. And our top edge here. Okay. So we'll just kind of have to work that into the pre-existing piece and itself, so that way it can get flattened out. Again, this is going to be rough, it's going to be fuzzy, it's going to be ugly at this stage. Because I haven't flipped it over, I haven't done the back pass through. It's gonna be a little bit messy. That's just how it goes until you get closer to finishing it and polishing it. Again, I'm just gonna bring my thumb in here, real gentle, and lift that up. And I'm gonna try to keep my finger just gentle finger weight there, just so it doesn't start to eat its length unexpectedly. Which we don't want happening. And this is the other side so far. We're looking pretty good on this side. I will definitely need to get some more of this color prepped for use here. Well, do I just want to keep going up here? I kind of want to just keep going up here. Alright, so I need to kind of overlap two edges here now. Okay. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of the pre-existing area tapped in again as well. Just, you know, it doesn't hurt to tap it a second time. We're going to tap it more than twice. And I just wanted to pull up there because that seemed like a good opportunity to do so. And I'll still have to do some length checks as we go and some width checks as we go, just to make sure it didn't do anything silly. But, you know, if I have to, I can just have the weird seam be on the bottom. It's probably what I'm gonna do anyhow. Okay, so that's pretty good. It feels a little questionable right there. So I am going to grab just a little bit here. And just kind of make a little patchy guy right there. It was just a little thin right there around the attachment areas. And it's just going to be a little bit easier to try to do that as I go than necessarily have to find them and come back and do each one. I mean, I'll probably still do that or do one of those final patch passes before we sew them up or before we add our lines on there, but I think it will be easier to deal with that now. All right, yeah, that's a little more solid. I mean, the whole thing's a little thin in there, but if we're gonna be completely honest. Okay. So we'll get this all attached into here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good on the other side. Matt keeps walking away from me here. Okay. Like, I can't wait to flip this guy over and do his pass through on this side so that we can get him feeling a little more solid. But we're not, I mean, I could do it now, but I feel like it would just be better to get the one side squared away before I start worrying about the other side. because I do want to flip it over and stab it through back and forth a couple of times. And just make sure I don't have any too terribly thin spots, since I am going to be stuffing this for all it's worth. Okay, and am liking how this side is looking. Doesn't look too patchy or splotched or anything. Don't have too many visible connection points. Like, we do have a few, but we'll address those as we go. And get those taken care of. Okay. Let's see how we're looking. It's a little thin in this spot here, but that might be fixed with the next bit of fluff going in. Let's see how we feel about that after this one gets popped in here. Maybe we can just extend that a little bit into there. And if it's still not quite enough, then we can come back in and add another little piece. Like, that shouldn't be an issue at all. Okay. Again, I'm going to try to make sure that my edge is connected in there. All right, carefully. All right, so we're not looking too bad. I mean, we do look a little strange in that section, and that's okay. We're not done by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. So I'm just gonna very carefully lift that up. So like right here's a little bit thin, but we haven't filled in that section yet. fully. Like right in here. Like I imagine the next row would take care of that. But because it's me, and I'm gonna be weird about it, and probably end up doing this anyway, I'm just gonna do it now. And we'll just kind of tuck that in. Get that all filled in there. Okay. Take a peek here and see how... Alright, yeah, that solided that section up pretty good in there. Alright, so this section up here still feels a little meh. Alright. So I didn't like fully finish tapping that section. I think it could have been tapped a little bit more. I mean, all of this could be tapped a little bit more if we're going to be fully honest with ourselves, because right here we've got a thin section that even like going back and forth isn't really going to fix. So, gonna fix it now. Because why not? We're here. We might as well. Okay. So I am still attaching. See, right here now it feels a little bit thin. Probably gonna have that problem the whole way. Not really a problem, but it's probably gonna be a thing. And like it's not like a huge problem. It's dealable. Okay, so we'll get that section popped into there, and yeah, that feels pretty good there. So we'll see about adding the next section here. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going the length or if I wanted to just do it in sections this way. Doing it in sections this way is not going so bad, so get this next bit worked into here. You trying to find him? He was in the bathroom. Sounds like my husband's having a hard time finding the cat. I might need to go help him. Yeah, give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. When he doesn't want to be caught, he's very good at hiding. We keep losing him in the house. But he is still way too darty. So we have to be really careful around the doors with him. Okay. Alright, now see, that whole section is pretty thin right there. So I am going to add a bit more on that, because this is the stage where I'm going to reinforce sections. I really should be doing it now. Just to make things a little bit easier. And that felt thin enough where I really wasn't so sure a flip over and stab through was going to do much with that. And I know I should probably wait, but I kind of want to stab through this side. I can't help it. There's this little part of me that's like, no, no, do it now, do it now. Because it is going to be quite a stab fest here. Working this back and forth a little bit. So just to kind of break things up a little bit. Probably should. Again, I want to work in smaller sections here. So I don't become too embedded in the mat. And B, so I can find my place. So I'm kind of working through this one section carefully. And like the more times that you stab back and forth, as long as you're doing it gently, it'll probably be easier to lift up from the mat. And see, you can already see a difference where this one's a little bit less fuzzy than this section. You can definitely see a difference as we are poking back through. And I'm probably going to make this side the outer shell. And probably have the other side be the one that faces in, just because this side so far is looking prettier. Granted, that might change as we go along. But we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of gently working my way through. What we have done so far. I mean, we've still got a good ways to go here. Okay. And, you know, it'll probably still have spots that looks fuzzy when we've decided to stop flipping it back and forth, and that's fine. If it's still a little bit fuzzier than you're looking for, you can always take your scissors and get right up against the surface like we were doing on the other pieces and just, you know, trim that little bit of extra fuzz off of there. If that's just more than you're willing to deal with. That is just not fitting into your plan. Okay. And I'm just gonna kind of pop that back and forth there. All right. And yeah, you can definitely just see a distinct fuzzy difference, at least in person, where this feels a little more polished than this side does, and that's fine. Like, we have some ridging being visible in here, and it's gonna have a little bit of visibility on that. That's just the nature of it. Like, it's gonna have a little bit of that happening. But I think it'll kind of play in with our wood and our bark, so it shouldn't really be too much trouble there. And I'm just kind of stabbing back through in the sections that we have done so far on this direction. And yeah, you know, as you go back and forth, you'll have it be fuzzy on one side, fuzzier than the other. Now this section right here still feels a little thin, like I thought I was seeing the mat through it. So I'm gonna grab just a little bit of fuzz here. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of a patchy patch. And by the time we get the full sheet here felted together, I might need to extend the width a little bit further. We will see. Now, you don't necessarily have to sew this. You could hot glue it, but I don't necessarily trust the hot glue. You could tacky glue it, but I think I'm just gonna sew it and be done with it because it'll be less messy. And that way I don't have to wait for glue to dry fully. Especially when we are streaming it. You know, if I wasn't streaming it, I could just, you know, let it do its thing and walk away from it. But that's going to be a little bit difficult to deal with on camera. So we're just going to sew it and just be done. Suzu, it's not time yet, guy. You still have another half an hour.
Gotta chill. Yeah, go on.
I'm watching the time. I always do. I promise. Alright. If you're that hungry, you have dry dog food over there. Alright, so yeah. We are up to here with adding our extra bits. So I think we will be stopping there for today. So yeah, when we get that, you know, this is just roughly popped onto here. When we get that sewed in, then I'm gonna stuff this whole guy with polyfill, and we'll have some dark barky lines running down the sides, and I think we'll be looking pretty good. But we still got a ways to go before we are quite there yet. Like this section right here needs another little bit. Like I can see through it, so that's not gonna hold much polyfill or stitching for that matter. So yeah, I will get some more of this color fluffed over the next couple of days. I might do it tonight and just not edit tonight. We will see. What kind of mood I'm in. By the time I get done doing everything else that the evening is going to require, like dinner and dishes and all that mess. But yeah, I might just end up getting the fluff together tonight, because I have a little bit, but it's probably not gonna be enough to finish the log. Like I'm gonna need to get some more here, especially to fill in all of the thinner sections and what have you. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit less concerning. Like, I don't really want to see too much daylight through it, and I can kind of see some small bits of daylight here and there, so I'll probably do a daylight patch pass before we sew this guy together, but it's coming along. Slowly, but coming along. So we'll be back tomorrow with Planet Zoo. And I think we have a little bit more to do on our gondola area. I think we still need to landscape that out a bit. And start to figure out where we want to place our pylons, where they're not going to be too much trouble. That might be the really tricky part. So we'll have to see how that's gonna go. And hopefully I'll be able to copy that building shell and hopefully be able to get that on another station without too much trouble. But we will see what happens with that. Don't forget to follow the socially links down below. Those will take you to the Ko-fi. For those that don't want to donate through Twitch, it's kind of like Patreon, but not exactly. I don't have any like memberships or anything running over there. I don't have time to do that right now. But that is a way for people to donate to the channel that don't want to donate through Twitch, because I understand. We've got we've got the link to the Blue Sky, which is kind of like the sidestep platform to what X Twitter was or is or what have you. I'm over there. X got to be too much for me. And then we also have the link to the YouTube channel. We do have Little Known Galaxy running on the channel now that we have not streamed. I'll try to get some more of that recorded soon. But I have a few episodes running into December, so we should be okay there. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their evening. it is Veterans Day, so hats off to all the veterans. And we thank you. And I'll see everybody tomorrow for Planet Soup.